servers and talking about how bad real money gambling is by far the best way to raise awareness to you guys who are these servers players on what not to waste your money on. Realistically speaking, none of these servers are going to make significant changes, and Mojang won't ever shut them down because being pay to win isn't against their commercial usage guidelines, even though many misinformed individuals may claim that. So at the end of the day, there is nothing we can do as YouTubers and players to remove gambling from these servers, and therefore these videos are the best way for me to reach the most people and tell them why gambling on these servers is bad and not to do it. It's really quite straightforward. Anyways, be sure to check out my server, og-network.net, and be sure to subscribe. Thank you all so much for watching.
It's okay because I have a plan to protect myself from all the electrosmog in my house using this and this and this. No, I'm just kidding you guys. That would look ridiculous. So instead, I've picked up a bottle of Warmore RFIE 50, a paint that, when applied correctly, claims to shield you from high and low frequency electromagnetic fields. How, you might ask? Well, not by teasing the folks who believe their Wi-Fi router is causing sleepless nights and cancerous growths. It probably has more to do with the high graphite content of this black base coat. And if this actually works, there are legitimate purposes for a product like this. If blocking unauthorized access to a baby monitor or thwarting keyless car theft could be as simple as a couple coats of paint, they might not only be able to justify the existence of this product, but even its outlandish price. So we decided that regardless of our own beliefs about the supposed dangers of 5G, we owe it to the tech community and Raymond EMC, whose chamber we haven't really used for anything yet, to find out if this stuff is snake oil or if it actually works. Works, like this segue to our sponsor, AMD. The new Radeon RX 7700 XT and 7800 XT are here, with up to 16 gigs of GDDR6 memory and AMD's FSR3 for sharp visuals and high frame rates. These graphics cards dare to ask, what if game but more good? Learn more at the link down below. According to the manufacturer, this stuff can lower RF noise by anywhere from 51 to 78 decibels, depending on the frequency, with just 3 layers of paint. Now, obviously we can't just take their word for it. We're gonna have to try it, which for a normal person would be a relatively easy task. Just turn off your Wi-Fi, use a handy dandy EMF meter like this 48846 from X-Tech to take a reading of the background RF radiation in your space, apply paint all around you, and then measure the difference. For us, though, it's not so simple because this place is quite literally radio frequency hell. We've got multiple high-performance wireless access points. We've got our rooftop 60 gigahertz wireless link to the other building, our cell repeater, and our wireless microphones and production gear, not to mention the hundreds of Wi-Fi and Bluetooth-enabled devices, all of which are competing for wireless spectrum in this big, bouncy concrete box that we call the lab. Allow me to demonstrate. Oh man, Jake. Jeez, you got 10. You've got 10 of them right here. And oh my god, 20. You got a wireless antenna right there. It's gonna sizzle your nipples. Adam's very busy. We don't want to disrupt him. Oh yeah, these are very. No, you're good. You're good. Very low RF.
That's great.
Very safe. Oh no, James has got wireless headphones. Oh, they're wired. Well, that explains why they're basically on par with the background reading then. I see trouble. I can't read it from here.
30, not 40. Wow, actually it does go up when you get closer to the AP.
I mean, that makes sense.
55.
What, 55?
There you go.
Oh, okay.
There
yeah,
you go.
Okay. How high can we get it?
80.
Whoa.
Wow. 85.
Wow, dangerous. What pocket do you keep your phone in?
It's on the desk.
Oh, okay. Well, wow, the readings are really low here.
Nobody texts me anyway.
This is low. Clearly nobody's actually using these servers. Hey, social team, you guys are using the servers, right? Yeah. Excuse me, sorry, I just need to, yeah, even farther back. Yeah, all right, thank you. Thank you. Acrylic side panels. Beautiful or deadly? Yeah. I think you're gonna be okay.
Okay.
All memeing aside, the inconsistency of our baseline readings is a significant problem if we're trying to figure out if the paint works. Even while I'm standing here, you're watching it fluctuate as much as 3 to 5 volts per meter, and moving just a foot drops it by another 3. Thankfully, we have a solution. Our EMC chamber. In here, we not only have extremely low background noise. This is a very controlled environment. It's 1.5 volts per meter, and that's with the camera right there. It's basically 0 without it. But we also have the ability to set up a completely self-contained 5G network, which will allow us to use not Wi-Fi, but harmful 5G to test out a variety of different shielding solutions. Let's start with one of the more obviously predatory ones, like this hat from EMR Shielding Solutions. It's $70 and its claim to fame is that, aside from looking absolutely fabulous, it is lined with 10% copper/silver, which, given the difference in cost, I couldn't mind knowing which one is which, but oh well. For our test, we've got our 5G network enabled, which you can actually see right here. We have a 5G compatible phone, and we have a screen recording running that should allow us to put it under the hat and see if it works. Not gonna lie, I played around with this a little bit before we rolled the camera, and we have a bit of an issue. Every time we've ever done this kind of thing in the past, we've used Wi-Fi, which is a lot easier to block than a cellular signal because of different bands and the waves. So this doesn't do anything, but I was actually expecting it to do something. Pinned at 80, is that what you were expecting?
Basically.
Okay, cool. Let's move on then. Next up is this 5G blocking fabric from Atmosure. Do I look swindler enough right now?
Where's the transmitter?
Depending which of the marketing brochures you pick up, these guys oscillate between totally reasonable with claims like sewing their fabric into your pockets could help block credit card skimming, all the way to move to a smaller town in rural area where 5G rollouts may not happen anytime soon. Let's give it a shot. Now you see 5G. Now you don't. It's like 10 seconds to refresh the reading. 1 second. Boom! Whoa.
Whoa. All right. It works.
Be nice if you could manually refresh it. Like the phone thinks it has 5G already. It broke it.
I don't know how you do it, Linus.
I-
You didn't even drop it.
I did nothing. I break things. It's not my fault, I swear to you. Okay, so I should try this again, because maybe something bad happened. Minus 83 decibels? Now you don't! Oh, what the? Oh, I know what it is. It's capacitive. Dang it. Now for my next trick, we're using a different interface, because it refreshes a little bit faster. But I'm going to make this 5G signal at minus 84 decibels disappear! Now you see it? Oh yeah, minus 94. Why didn't I think of this earlier? Just come in here with it. Ugh. I can totally breathe. Minus 99. Dang! This stuff kind of does something. Let's move on to our paint. Let's take a closer look at this boy. Made in Canada. Very nice. Very breathable with low VOC content, which actually does matter when you're applying paint. They say it contains no toxic solvents, plasticizers, or other toxic ingredients. It's water-based, containing mostly an acrylic binder, water, natural graphite, and carbon black. And while I said a whole bunch of stuff about how non-toxic it is, I would like to point out that none of this is actually unique in the paint industry, and I would strongly suggest that you not consume any of this, however non-toxic it might be. By the way, as we discovered during the creation of our test enclosure, it is even more clothes stainy than thermal paste, so make sure you are super careful when you're using it. Rather than painting a room, we decided to paint a box. With Movie Magic! Wow, look at that! We painted this whole box with 3 coats. Cool. Because our box has some small gaps in it, we used foil tape to cover them, and we'll be using the same to seal our phone inside. We just need to devise a test that allows us to actually monitor what the bloody thing is doing. Well, here's one thing. I can put it in and see if that does... Oh, wow. I actually have really high hopes for this. It's not even enclosed. Okay, hold on. Maybe 3, which is worse. Oh, minus 105! And it's still got a big gap. Buddy? 102? I don't see anything there. 106? Okay, that's not 70 or 80 decibels or whatever, but that's something. It's 25. And that's on a cardboard box. How about a practical demo? What does this mean in real world terms? Or wait, do we have internet? Oh, perfect. Then I'll just go to YouTube. Why does everybody put 5G in their house? This is great. I have no idea how much that costs. I mean, while we're at it, why doesn't everybody have the new stubby screwdriver from LTTstore.com? I've got an LTT video loaded up here. I'm gonna go ahead and change the quality to, let's go 4K, right? We're at 4K and I've got Stats for Nerds overlaid. So you can actually see right now our connection rate is about 40 megabit as measured by Stats for Nerds. Now, let's go ahead and drop it into the box. Boom! We are down to 30. 33, 34. Still, that's quite a bit lower, and it gets better. Let's go ahead and start to close it. We're down to 20, under 20. 18, 10, 3. It will almost certainly buffer very soon. Oh, it's buffering! It's buffering! It cannot play. I don't even need to seal this. It cannot play the video. Oh, she's going. Okay. Well, we are not going to know for sure exactly when or how it cuts out because I have no way of monitoring the screen inside the box. But we can go ahead and seal it up. Thanks, Colin. All right. I gotta tell you, I wasn't sure exactly what to expect today, but it wasn't for it to be this good. I kind of thought this was gonna be more like the Hat. Like, oh yeah, 5G blocking paint. You're trying to block 5G, I mean, to paint a box. Oh. I'm so glad we have that other box. Can you hand me the control box, which was totally our intention the whole time? Let's pull this out of here. Maybe cardboard blocks 5G. Okay, you ready? I'm pulling it out and, oh yeah, she's struggling, 2 megabit. And you can actually see that during a lot of this, it's not able to transfer anything. Now that we're back up here, it's playing, we're at 4 megabit, and it looks like it's gonna keep climbing because it's actually above the scale. Very cool! Now, something the savvy among you might have realized or thought of at this point is that if this is 5G millimeter wave, just about anything could block it. It's not millimeter wave, but if it were, a piece of paper could block it. So let's go ahead and see, is it just the fact that our network sucks? We're at 47 megabit right now. Let's go ahead and drop it in. Oh boy, we're at 54. This is not 5G enhancing cardboard, I promise you that much. Doesn't seem to be making any difference. It's at 59. Okay, no, really, don't take away the wrong conclusion here, you guys. But there's one major thing we haven't addressed yet. While EMR Shielding Solutions, Inc. does claim protection against high-frequency RF, microwave, and low-frequency electric fields, they require you to ground it. So they actually sell a kind of foil tape that you can run along the baseboards in the painted area. Then you paint over it with this stuff, which is supposed to act more like a primer or a base coat, and then you apply your regular paint over top of this so that your guests don't need to know that you get your news from InfoWars. Anyway, our box is grounded now. Let's go ahead and try it one more time. I'm not really expecting it to change that much. I suspect this is more about the blockage. Okay, 50 megabit. Yeah, that's not too bad for 4K YouTube. All right. And, there we go. Okay, we're down to 40, 38, 37, 35. She's dropping. Okay. 15. Even more effective. Down to 3 megabit. And she's dropping. It's not the most scientific test either. I'm not necessarily convinced that's making a ton of difference, but sure. If you were going for the most effective covering possible, then you would probably want to ground your paint. But you'd also probably want to remove your doors and your windows. So given that your house, no matter what you do, is going to be less sealed and less grounded than this, so I suspect that if your goal was to completely block any kind of signal in or out, you are going to be sorely disappointed. The good news is that nothing that we've looked at today, including me standing right next to this 5G antenna, is anywhere near Health Canada's guidelines for prolonged exposure to electromagnetic fields. And in fact, according to their guidelines, unless the device is quite literally heating up your skin, there is no scientifically established long-term effect to the frequencies that are emitted by consumer electronics. And there's even more good news. If your goal was not to achieve some kind of health benefit, but simply to attenuate the RF signals from any device inside your box, like a car key in that spoofing example that we gave you guys earlier in the video, then this actually works way better than I expected, and it could absolutely be part of your toolbox. Though, with that said, if you're trying to block a signal, a toolbox might do a better job at a much lower price, assuming it's made of metal. Like this segue to our sponsor, Corsair. So you want to build a PC, but you don't know the difference between a 12-pin and a bowling pin, or maybe you do, and you just want to reduce clutter with one standardized cable that connects everything. Well, Corsair's IQ Link ecosystem could be the answer. You can create a chain of devices using the same simple connector, all leading to a single IQ Link system hub that can be attached to your PC's frame using the mysterious power of magnets. Not even famed scientist Dr. Shaggy 2 Dope knows how those work. Oh boy. Each of the hub's 2 ports can handle up to 7 connected devices, which reduces cabling complexity, and with a range of products in the ecosystem, like coolers, power supplies, and even fans, building a fully connected PC is a breeze. As fans get it. Oh, and you can customize the RGB lighting of all your Corsair devices with their IQ software. Check out Corsair's IQ Link Smart Ecosystem at the link. Not queued, it's just a regular link down below. If you guys enjoyed this video, maybe go check out the one where we bought router RF blocking enclosures. Yeah, that's right, that is a thing that is actually for sale. It turns out they're just paper holders that have been rebranded, and they don't really block that much.
I've just bought every single Nintendo home console.
When most people think about Minecraft modding, they usually think of a few mods like the Aether, Godzilla, or ones that add tons of new weapons and items. And although these are the most iconic, they're not so much mods that could have completely changed the game if they were added. But there's one mod that I think people should know of when they think of Minecraft modding. A mod that if just parts of it were added, they would completely change the game, and was so ahead of its time that Mojang are actually still adding features from it. This mod is AdventureCraft, a very overlooked and kind of forgotten mod made from late 2010 to early 2012, that tried to add a completely new level of creativeness, opportunity, and gameplay to a game already known for its true sandbox. So let us take a look at why and how this mod was created, what makes this incredible mod so ahead of its time, its tragic rise and fall, and its epic comeback. And with that all being said, let us begin. To understand why this mod was just so impressive, we need to start by briefly looking at Minecraft modding in its first year. On June 23rd, 2009, the first mod was released for Minecraft called Omen, and it was a pretty basic map editor, but paved the way for many of Minecraft's first mega creations. A month later, on July 11th, a coder by the name of JTE released the JTE Custom Flatland server, which hosted and created the first plugins, which allowed for maps to be reset, maps to be transitioned, and created very rudimentary NPCs. For the rest of 2009, not much would really happen. A few clients were released, such as World of Minecraft, which allowed people to build or grief faster and more efficiently. And the first texture packs would be released, though this is not fully considered modding. The first half of 2010 was also relatively quiet, and this was mainly because Minecraft was being updated and revamped every few weeks, so no one really had the time to make anything truly revolutionary. However, servers by this point were getting pretty advanced, having numerous functional minigames such as lava and zombie survival, and even having basic bots and NPCs. But this would all change with the release of Alpha in late June and July 2010. Alpha is the first full form of Minecraft that we can recognize today. It had endless worlds, mining and crafting, tons of animals, and tons of smaller pieces such as minecarts, fences, and redstone. But it was also when Minecraft first truly got popular, and first truly had a community. Technically a few days before Alpha's release, but would not be fully working till after its release, was a mod called MC Edit, first released on June 25th. If you have been in the Minecraft community long enough, you probably already know it, but for those who don't know, it basically was a far better version of Omen, since it was actually specialized on making worlds far more detailed, allowing for block variations, mob spawning, and individual block placements. This would fully kickstart Minecraft's custom map scene, and with the addition of Redstone, allowed for the first adventure maps to be released in August. On August 5th, HMod was released, which was a massive step in server plugins, and combined with another mod released the next day called LlamaCraft, completely changed and made the framework for servers we see today. The developers of HMod would later rebrand to Bukkit, and two of its developers, Grum and Dinnerbone, would be hired by Mojang in 2012. From there, the ball just started rolling faster, with the first true mods in the form of adding new custom content or features being released in early September, and later in that month, World Edit would be released, which further expanded the scope of Minecraft creations. With the last important note for the brief history being that in October, modders decompiled the entire game, allowing for people to easily understand the inner workings and then to make their own mods far easier. And in this sudden explosion in mods and plugins, the story of AdventureCraft truly begins. Cracked was a coder who made numerous mods for games such as Hitman, Doom, World of Warcraft, and more throughout the mid to late 2000s. And when the concept of a machinima, aka a movie within a game, got huge in 2004, he would start making his own machinimas for World of Warcraft from 2005 to 2007, each of which used custom assets and graphics, and got a couple 10,000 views, which was actually pretty popular for the time. In July of 2010, he discovered Minecraft just as it was on the edge of getting huge, and his first couple of videos show his first experiences with the game. And as a quick side note, you can see just how much the game was something completely different to people back then, with him uploading numerous clips on the same day and him experimenting with both paths. Around this time, Redstone was starting to be fully figured out on the Minecraft forums, and a lot of coders really loved it since it was a very simple system that could do a lot. So Kryak joined the forums in August and got into Redstone, making a ticker system that could show letters, which got him nearly 200,000 views at the time, which was once again pretty impressive. From there, he went from Redstone to taking an interest in coding Minecraft, when a mod creator tool was released by a user called Sarge on October 17th. And then he just started making Minecraft mods, starting with one that allowed players to jump into the air with a block, then making a grenade, then making a boomerang, then making a mod which allowed torches to give off light when held, which was like 3 to nearly 5 years ahead of its time. By the end of 2010, his mods had a certain style, that being a style inspired by games like Wolfenstein, Legend of Zelda, and World of Warcraft. But what he wanted to do was not just style his mods off these games, but turn Minecraft into a platform to make games and maps like those, since adventure maps and mods could recreate parts of those games, but none of them really had the gameplay, usually compromising with some core feature of Minecraft such as placement of levers. And because of that, he wanted to make his own full platform, and this platform would be called AdventureCraft. So with that all being said, let us now take a look at what made AdventureCraft so impressive. Immediately launching AdventureCraft shows that this is something very different from both the free build of Modern Creative and the then very basic version of Survival. This was a level editor, where people create a closed-off map or game, or you load and play someone else's. From there we get into its features. Immediately noticeable is that much like real life, the world is flat, something that didn't exist in the Survival versions, but did exist in the free classic version from 2009. Also noted is that you cannot break blocks. This was something that didn't exist at the time, and was to remove a way for people to break out of the adventure. But you can turn on debug mode, which is pretty much the only way you can create and edit the map, and from here I'm just going to go into everything this mod did. To begin, it had a palette feature, which was pretty much the creative inventory but like a year before it came out. And as you can see, there's a lot more blocks than just the alpha ones. In fact, there's over 300, a lot of which came from a texture pack called Painterly, but there was also tons of new ones to fit any possible environment or dungeon. There's not just blocks here, there's also tables, chairs, ropes, chains, new types of torches, half-slab logs, and more. Going to the end of the palette shows all of the tools someone can use. Some of the building tools were already done and seen in mods like World Edit, specifically the ones where you can erase and place a bunch of blocks, but some of these have unique features, such as the Painter tool, which allows you to change the color or style of blocks, and I don't even know any mod that allows you to do this even today, let alone back then. Onto the event tools, there's the effects block, which allows you to produce any particle effect, a weather block, which allows the weather to randomly change, commands to change the weather did not exist at that time, and the light block, which allows for light to be in an area without torches, which would only be officially added 10 years later in the exact same form. Then there's the core feature of the trigger block, which is pretty much the observer, detecting when the player passes and then activating a mechanism. This was super ahead of its time, as the only way to do this up till 2016 was by using tripwires, buttons, levers, or pressure plates. These tools are a lot more simple than the command blocks of today. Since they are not really code heavy, you just have to attach whatever you want happen to the trigger block, and whenever the map is played, the trigger block will be invisible. But then there are the more gameplay tools. The first are NPCs, which did exist in the few forms pre-AdventureCraft, but were very basic. However, AdventureCraft allowed for full NPCs that could walk, talk, and help the player, which was very ahead of its time. Then there's a cutscene editor, allowing for people to make cinematic introductions or show what the player's end goal is, which I believe still has not done in both normal Minecraft and any hugely popular mod. There's a spawn block, allowing for people to respawn at a certain point without needing a bed, which also didn't exist at that time. And there are keys and hearts, which allow people to find and use them while and from killing bosses without needing to break any immersion through chests or eating. And lastly are the items. So there are 3 types of guns, all of which are somewhat animated, but Mojang probably wouldn't be happy with that. There are also bombs, musical instruments, shields, grappling hooks, jumping boots, and even gravity gloves that allow you to make any block fall like sand. There are tons of other smaller features, like allowing for players to make mobs as big and as much health as they want, spikes, item frames, target blocks, and allowing people to use both hands. All of which are still not in the game yet, or would be added anywhere from a year to like 6+ years later officially. And not to have this video go on too long, I will leave it at that, since there are tons of other blocks, features, and more that were 1, truly ahead of their time, 2, very technical, and 3, just help to contribute the overall message of the mod. That being said, the overall purpose and message of the mod is to be a platform to turn Minecraft into a true classic adventure game, with custom bosses, items, dungeons, hearts, keys, and more, all of which are customizable. And well, there's not really been anything like this since, at least to this level of detail, customization, and style. But before we go too much into concluding on this mod, let us take a look at its extreme rise, its crushing fall, and its exciting revival. AdventureCraft would be privately developed from November to December 2010, building a little bit of hype on YouTube and Reddit, and first released on July 7, 2011 on the Minecraft forums. Upon its release, it was very popular, getting over 10 pages of response in just the first 2 days, though it would be a few weeks till people started to make their own maps for the mod. In March, a modder by the name of Gary520 released a huge map for AdventureCraft called Zelda Adventure, which was an amazing take of Legend of Zelda in Minecraft. It honestly deserves a video of its own just because of how much detail and how long it was, but what you need to know is that it instantly became the most popular mod for Minecraft at that time, getting millions of views, which in turn brought hundreds of thousands of downloads to AdventureCraft. And it was a huge part of my childhood, so shout out if you remember this from back in the day. The spring of 2011 saw more maps be made, such as Deadcraft, which was a take on Dead Space, Innsbruck, which was kind of a COD Zombies inspired adventure map, and Ancient Relics, which was a completely original dungeon crawler. This popularity would continue into the summer of 2011, where other maps such as Journey to the Aether and The Dam kept its hype going on. And by September 2011, the mod was probably the most popular one for the game behind the Aether, and was seeing new updates that added sloped blocks and custom mob models. However, also in September 2011, an update would be released that would change both Minecraft and AdventureCraft as a whole. The Adventure update was a true turning point in the game's history, a point of no going back and divides old and new Minecraft into what some may say are 2 different games. As we all know, the update added sprinting, hunger, XP, blocking, bow drawback, and more. But a forgotten consequence of this update was that many mods were completely broken due to how many changes in the coding there were. So many mod creators then had 3 choices. The first was to completely revamp and adapt to the new changes. The second was stay behind for the relatively small community who didn't like the update. Or 3, just abandon their mods there. A good number chose to keep going and adapt, such as the teams behind Twilight Forest, the Aether, and Zeppelin. But over the next few months, another issue arose, and this is another one that doesn't really get talked about much. So after the adventure updates released in September, it seemed that the game would not update for a few more months to at least a year, especially if updates were going to be as big as that one. However, after 2 months, the next major update came out, and that one also changed the code massively. Then a month and a half after that, another update came out that changed the code, and a month after that, another update came out that changed the code, and finally there was another update a month later that completely changed the code. And by April, the code for Minecraft was now a complete mess, resulting in tons of mods that would be incompatible if they didn't keep up during this entire time. And well, this is just where a lot of teams and single creators just straight up quit, or completely rebuilt mods from the ground up, or just started making sequels to their original mods. So at least unintentionally and unknown to most of the community, a lot of mods from November 2010 to November 2011 were pretty much completely abandoned or redone by April 2012 because they could just not keep up with these changes. And one of these creators who could just not keep up was Cryact. Cryact was pretty much the only developer of AdventureCraft during this entire time, making nearly 700 fixes and updates to the mod, but just could not keep up with the official changes and updates to the game itself. Because of this, AdventureCraft slowly became less and less of a priority for him. Then he got busy with real life and moving on to other games. And although AdventureCraft did remain popular in early 2012, with a few videos and maps such as COD Zombies, it was just not going to be enough to keep it going the way it did in 2011. And by August 26, 2012, the last official update for AdventureCraft came out for 1.3.2. After this, Cryact would pretty much leave Minecraft to focus on real life, becoming employed at a VR company that makes realistic simulators for training surgeons. AdventureCraft then just fell into ruin. It stopped working due to bugs with Minecraft's code, and as command block maps and later minigames took over the community, it was pretty much forgotten as a whole by early 2013. From 2013 to 2018, there were a few attempted revivals. There was AdventureCraft 2, which didn't really get off the ground, Tailcraft, which did get a little bit off the ground but didn't go anywhere, and a few others which only lasted a few months at a time. But in October 2018, a coder by the name of Ryu, who actually helped with making this video, started another attempted revival with friends and a few other coders. And since 2020, with the help of 2 other coders named Sir Block and Ted Pizza, have completely revived the mod, constantly updating it, making a whole new launcher, whole new website, and hosting nearly all of the original maps from 2011. Since 2021, another team has started work again on Zelda Adventure, which itself is now getting constant updates. And the idea of AdventureCraft is now being remade from the ground up, with a separate game on its own engine being released in the future. So if you're interested in anything this mod has to offer, I ask you to please go check out this project. All you have to do is go to the website, download the launcher, allow it to run, don't worry, it's not a virus. Then you can play and download all of the original maps and make your own. There's also a community Discord where you can download new maps and share your own. With that being said, let us now get into the conclusion and legacy of this mod. In my opinion, AdventureCraft is one of only a few mods that could have truly changed Minecraft if it continued to be huge or just got added to the game. It was incredibly ahead of its time, with having features like the trigger block, with some parts of it not even being in Minecraft today. I want to specify that this was all before creative mode and command blocks to just show how unique this mod was back then. It is also important to recognize that features from this mod, whether directly inspired or not, are in Minecraft today, such as adventure mode, the light blocks, a command block, observer, and more. All were first done here before being added to the game at least a year later. The sad part is that if all of these parts from this mod was added to vanilla Minecraft, the game would have possibly had a completely different trajectory and been a far more expansive sandbox experience. Instead, Mojang's main focus was on servers and trying to expand the survival aspect of the game with new mobs and items. But either way, the story of AdventureCraft is not over, as the revival has everything the original mod had and is still being updated with new features and better support. So hopefully the history and legacy of AdventureCraft will still live on. And that is all. This is my first video from a long break, so if you would want more videos, let me know in the comments, and keep a lookout for some streams in the future. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe, and if you already are, please like and share. Have a good day, and goodbye.
Minecraft Story Mode is a game that exists, and people actually speedrun it. Yep. I think you know what I'm doing today. So we start the speedrun as soon as we start a new game, and we get some backstory. Oh yeah, none of these cutscenes are skippable because they're pretty much the entire game, but I'll lightly go over them as we go through the speedrun, so you won't have to suffer through the brilliant dialogue as much as I did. Now to start, in the past there were 4 heroes that worked together to defeat the Ender Dragon. They're called the Order of the Stone, and they're pretty cool. So we learn that story, and then it cuts to us, who looks like this. A very drastic difference. Now this leads us into the main gameplay of choosing dialogue options, but of course we choose the quickest ones. Funnily though, this often means we don't say anything, and we get beautiful moments like this.
Huh? What?
But we have a group of me, a guy named Jesse, my friends Olivia and Axel, and my pig Ruben. We're preparing to go out to a building competition where, if we win, we get to meet one of the 4 heroes, Gabriel, at a convention called EnderCon. So the characters talk about this in some of the most awkward dialogue of my life.
Make up for all the losing.
Before we decide to build a fireworks stand with a creeper in front of it and have a training montage. Yeah, this is actually the worst part of the game. It involves mashing the Q key over and over to do actions. It's actually kind of painful, but we become stronger, I guess? Still not really sure why this is going to help us with our building, but whatever, it's time to go to the competition. And once we make it there, we see our arch rivals, the Ocelots. These are a group of block people who are just as good at insults as they are building.
Well, well, well. If it isn't the order of the losers.
Great. The fail squad's here.
We argue a bit with them, tell this person our team name, and finally get to our build site. But of course, the Ocelots come back and give us some more of their amazing insults that really hurt me.
EnderCon doesn't allow outside food or drink. I'm talking about your pig.
But our friend Petra comes to rescue us because I'm pretty sure the Ocelot's leader, Lucas, is into her. Now Petra is a cool, adventurous girl, and Lucas is the only kind of sane member on the Ocelots, and they'll both be important later. But this helps us make up, kind of.
Careful what you wish for.
We'll see about that.
Quick little rant. At this point in the story, Jesse is actually the most unlikable protagonist I've ever played as. All he does is complain, be bad at everything, and does this creepy smile. Why does he look like this? He does get better as we go through the game, but right now it's just kind of painful. Anyways, the building competition starts, but not until after we get this amazing scene.
Handshake? We don't have a handshake.
It's so bad.
The builder bump.
Who thought this game was a good idea? Then our team builds our creeper firework thing, which prompts one of the Ocelots, Aiden, to throw a hissy fit and almost kill Ruben. So I go after my pig while my friends stay back to protect our build. Here's where the real spooky part of the run comes, where we walk through a dark forest slowly. It's legitimately like 2 minutes of this. But eventually we find Ruben and get attacked by some mobs. I thankfully have a wooden sword to fend off these creatures, only to have it break after a bit, just when I thought Jesse couldn't get any less cool. After a bit of being pathetic, we get saved by Petra, and she invites us to come into a cave. Here she lets us know that she has a wither skull and is going to be selling it later at EnderCon for a diamond, which I feel like is a really low price, but go off, Petra. She invites us to help her sell it for some reason, and tells us to craft a new sword with her materials. This is uncomfortably slow to do, but I might just feel that way because I'm a speedrunner. After we get out of the cave, we make it to a bridge and get cornered by mobs, so we jump off. We also get this beautiful scene because of it. My character is so suave. A bit later, Jesse and Petra arrive at EnderCon and get ready to make a deal with the shady dude Petra's talking to, Ivor, but not before some more beautiful awkward silence clips.
Could have fit more fireworks in there somewhere.
After leaving my friends, we go into a dark alley, which is a great place to meet someone you've never met before, but we don't see the buyer, and Petra goes looking for him. Of course, this is when he shows up, and we get treated to one of the best interactions of the speedrun.
Give me one good reason why I shouldn't walk out of here right now. Well, I'm a very busy man.
But as everyone expected, once Petra returns and we finally make the deal, we get scammed, so we go after him. This means we get some more totally fun walking scenes, experience some awkward situations, and threaten a butcher who's trying to chop up Ruben. This is getting kind of morbid for a Minecraft game. Eventually though, we meet up with our friends and find the scammer again, only to see he's in the VIP section. We get blocked by this dude and just watch the clips.
No tickets, no show.
But that's okay because we learn he has an irrational fear of chickens, so we're gonna exploit it. We build a slime cube to jump off of while recruiting the Lucas guy we met earlier. Then Jesse jumps off the cube we made and destroys some dude's chicken machine. Yes, you really can't make this beautiful storytelling up.
Hi!
Now once we make it into the VIP section, we see that our culprit went inside a door, so we follow him into his creepy library basement. Here we talk about the morality of stealing, and then do it multiple times. And see that Ivor has 3 wither skulls in his possession, so he's probably planning on making a wither. Kinda messed up. Ivor then comes down to the basement, and we do a little hiding before directly confronting him. Seriously, why did we hide for a full minute if I was just gonna come up to him anyways and blow everything? But that doesn't matter because we got like 5 people and a pig. Surely he can't get a whoa, he got away and made an iron golem. Why are we so bad at this? Thankfully, everyone but Lucas escapes the iron golem, and we decide not to go save him because that would be too much work. Instead, we ask the hero Gabriel to help, or we don't really ask him. More of this. I'm so cool.
What question do you have for the mighty Gabriel? Well, we've got a very long line here.
Our friend Lucas is in trouble, and we need your help.
It seriously never gets old. But before we can get him to save Lucas, Ivor comes by and it turns out Gabriel knows him? What? Ivor is angry at Gabriel and wants to prove he's not a true hero. So he makes a full-on wither with a command block inside of it because apparently Ivor knows how to code in Java. Yeah, my Twitch chat came up with that one. So yeah, that gets unleashed, starts killing some people, and Gabriel is powerless against it. Ivor tries to prove that he's the real hero and can stop it, which makes 0 sense because he was the one who created it in the first place. But he also fails because we stole his potion earlier. Yep, we are directly responsible for this monster. Jesse then tries to use the potion, but the wither covers its command block, so we kinda just lose. Guess it's time to run. We all run away while constant death is happening around us. Like, I can't even count the amount of deaths caused by Ivor, but who cares? Not like they're the main characters anyway. Oh yeah, also Lucas somehow made it out, and he gets mad at us for deserting him with an iron golem, which, you know, fair, but we say he's a nerd and keep running away. Here we get to another exciting part where we run away from the wither storm. It's pretty much just moving left and right, occasionally pressing the E button, but I guess it's pretty fun, better than listening to Jesse talk anyways. And eventually we make it to Gabriel's fortress, but for some reason decide not to close the door. A couple people in our crew are able to make it to the nether portal, but the wither storm starts attacking us. Gabriel tells us that we're the person who needs to gather all the heroes, even though Jesse is probably the worst person to do that, and gives us this amulet that he says will help us before telling us to find some temple that will lead us to our destination. After that, the wither storm kills some random people and almost kills Petra, but we save her before getting violently whacked into the nether portal. So this is our group now. It's kinda lost the 2 best people, but whatever. We then have some fun arguments about leaving Petra behind, even though this dude Axel went into the nether portal first. We were in danger while this dude was chilling with my pig, and he has the audacity to call me out for not saving everyone. Oh yeah, here's where we start learning about how awful of a character Axel is, but we'll get more into that later. For now, Ivor makes it into the portal as well and has some witty banter with the team.
I'm saying she's stupid.
And then the portal breaks, so it looks like we won't be seeing Petra anytime soon. At this point, Ivor leaves us because he doesn't want to get seen with my team of losers, which fair, but we decide to do what Gabriel wants and find the heroes so they can help us destroy the wither storm. To get to the temple though, we need to go on a roller coaster ride through the nether, but it's not really a roller coaster ride, it's more like a torture device. There are big drops, parts where we would die by lava if we miss a switch, and the spinning part. I really don't understand how all this is necessary, but at least we get to have fun while almost dying. We also get some more quick time events where we need to hit the gas breath back at them, which doesn't really make any sense because how are they even keeping up with our card in the first place? But whatever, we made it back to the end, and Jesse gets to say this line.
You know how you have those experiences you remember and reminisce about for the rest of your lives?
Yeah?
This isn't one of those. Never discuss this ever again.
He's so cool! Anyways, we go into another nether portal and we're finally in a safe spot. Well, relatively safe spot. We decide to make a treehouse so we don't die from mobs and get to see why I really don't like Axel.
So, Ivor said, well then maybe this is the temp. I'm being sarcastic. He called me stupid.
No, I didn't.
But you wanted to.
No, I didn't.
I have cookies. One for me, one for Olivia, one for Jesse.
Gimme.
Thanks, Axel.
And one for Ruben. Sorry, Lucas. I only have 4.
Yeah, he's just so much fun to be around. But we wake up the next morning and it's time to find the temple that Gabriel was talking about. Jesse does get the chance to talk to Lucas about last night though, and just watch this.
Sorry about all that business last night. Honestly, I'm more embarrassed than anything else.
Why is our character so socially awkward? But we find the temple and it has to be one of the most obviously booby-trapped buildings I've ever seen in my life. Just look at all the dispensers. But of course, my pig gets scared by literally nothing and runs right into a pressure plate, which sets everything off. Here we see Jesse be surprisingly nimble, even though he's proven to be trash in every other situation. And he somehow survives. I then need to craft a fishing rod so we can hit the pressure plate again and stop the traps so we can keep going. After that, we make it into a library and learn that Ivor, the weird old man who basically started the end of the world, was actually one of the heroes that helped defeat the Ender Dragon. Who could have seen that coming? But we don't care about that too much because the speedrun is almost over. All we need to do is place the amulet on this pedestal and solve a simple puzzle. This reveals where 2 more of the heroes are at, and we decide to go after Magnus while Lucas and Olivia stay back for Petra. Kinda upset that I'm the one that has to do all the work, but whatever, I guess. We finally end off the speedrun after getting a glimpse of chapter 2, and that's our time. 1:18:19. Oh yeah, I am 100% not doing a speedrun of the full game, so sorry if you thought I'd torture myself like that, but hey, we got like 3rd or 4th or something. Not exactly sure because my timer was with loads instead of without, but I don't really care. We did it, finally. Please subscribe if you enjoyed, and check out my Twitch streams. Today we're 100% speedrunning Papers, Please, meaning we need to get all 20 endings.
The difference between you and me is that while you might be able to take life, I can bring it back. This is the story of how I was forced to turn my mod into one of the deadliest weapons on this server, and why I did it.
This is McGill University in Montreal, Canada. It boasts an enrollment of more than 40,000 students from 150 countries. The campus employs 1,700 professors teaching 300 programs of study, and it's proud to be home to 12 Nobel Prize winners. It is considered one of the finest research universities in the world. Recently, researchers at McGill have embarked on a study that uses a brain scanning device to read people's minds and implant thoughts into their heads. Or so their subjects think. Now, the same device may be able to help kids with ADHD, anxiety, obsessive compulsive disorder, migraines, Tourette's, and more. This study is not about technology. The MRI machine behind me may look impressive, but it's a sham. It's deactivated, non-functioning. What this study is really about is faith in science. It's about the power of thoughts to heal. All you need is the power of suggestion. A placebo is something that shouldn't work, but due to the power of suggestion and because of the strength of our belief, does. But we don't fully understand yet how they work. There could be an evolutionary explanation. For example, if a small child hurts themselves, negative symptoms like pain and crying can be good. They keep the child safe and still, while signaling adults to come help. When help arrives, even if it has no active effect, the child's brain may feel it has permission to redirect resources away from seeking help and on to actually healing. Modern medicine has found a way to harness this power by prescribing placebos. But not all placebos work the same. For example, a sugar pill will help your headache more if given to you by a doctor than by a poker buddy. And the color of the placebo matters too. A blue pill will work to make you feel calm better than a white pill, because blue is a more calming color. And a red pill will keep you awake and give you more energy than a blue pill will. A capsule will work better than a pill because it looks more important. Also, an injection will work better than a capsule because it seems more serious and potent. There's even evidence that fake or sham surgeries have positive effects. It may be fake medicine, but the effects can be real. And not just because the patient feels better psychologically. We're talking real physical healing, thanks to the power of the brain. I traveled to Montreal to meet local children struggling with debilitating behavioral and neurological conditions, who would soon find out whether their afflictions could be cured by the power of suggestion.
This is Malaya?
Malaya, I'm Michael. Nice to meet you.
Oh.
12-year-old Malaya suffers from a common skin ailment, eczema. But she has also developed a skin picking disorder, dermatillomania. And you're starting high school, what, like this year?
Early September.
Wow, that's a big step. So what kind of things worry you, given the symptoms that you have?
Probably the picking.
Of your skin?
Yeah, I don't know. I find it satisfying to pick. It's kind of gross.
Why do you think you can't stop?
I'm not sure.
Have you tried different things that'll help you stop?
Yeah, like in my mind, I'm just like, today you won't pick. You are gonna get rid of this eczema, and then after I'm just like, oh wait, my face is like bleeding.
Yeah,
and
is it embarrassing?
Yeah, I like to wear long sleeves because my arms are like, if they're really bad, I'm gonna try to wear long sleeves.
How are your arms now?
It's like really bad. So, as you can see.
And that's all just from scratching and picking?
Yeah.
12-year-old Nicholas was troubled by debilitating migraine headaches. So, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Like I really, really want to be probably like an NHL or an MLB player, one of those two.
Nicholas's love of sports is unfortunately also the original source of his suffering. Nice.
My first head injury, which was concussion, I hit my head on a soccer post. And then I hit my head in a game of hockey. After that, I had headaches every single day. I was throwing up, having auras. They're like colors that you see before you have a headache. I wasn't able to go to school. And then we went to the hospital and into their concussion program.
Can I see his migraine chart?
Oh, sure. Yeah, we have almost 2 years worth. Severe headaches here. Severe
Every day?
migraines. Every single day. This has turned his world upside down.
Nathan was diagnosed with ADHD and impulse control disorder. I'd love to hear, especially about you, Nathan. First of all, how old are you?
9.
9.
How old you are?
How old do you think I am?
30.
That's a very good guess. I'm 31.
Ooh.
So tell me about like before Nathan's diagnosis, what were kind of the symptoms you were seeing?
Tantrums all the time. Just an inability to reach him, to communicate to him, to connect to him. That was the main symptom.
And what did you think of this, Nathan? Were you like, why are my parents not happy?
Because I was not listening.
Why weren't you?
I don't know. Maybe because I had problems.
And as far as like behavior?
Impulsivity, hyperactivity. You're always on the edge. You're always stressed. What is he gonna touch? Where is he gonna go? What is he gonna do?
Yeah.